Lately, the media has been very obsessed with DeepSeek and also Chinese AI because they are just being so efficient with their capital. Now, if you look at this slide over here by Chatbot Arena,
2024 was a pretty good year for the stock market, but many are predicting in 2025 there's going to be a market crash. Predicting is one thing, but knowing how to take advantage of it is more important. What kind of stocks to buy? How to protect your portfolio in a downturn? These are some of the questions you need to ask during market chaos. That's why I'm organizing a free training session to share with you how to do it. 10 February, 8:30 p.m. See you there.
you can see that DeepSeek is ranking the third among AI model competitors. They are just behind Google and OpenAI in terms of these maybe even top usage or maybe even their accuracy. Now, we are no AI experts over here. However, what we are trying to share is just whatever information that it's publicly available and some of our thoughts on what we think on this DeepSeek and potentially the impact that it's going to be having onto the US and also onto Malaysia's AI stocks. Now, not only DeepSeek, we also have Alibaba over here, which will be introducing their Quen 2.5 Max AI model, and they claim to have an edge over DeepSeek. So you can see that Chinese AIs are being very competitive right now. They are just innovating a lot less, maybe even better in terms of accuracy. So in the end, we consumer will be benefiting for it because of this competition. Now, we wrote this article on the AI stocks in trouble, and basically we compare between OpenAI spending and also DeepSeek spending. And we want to see whether is this true or is it false, because the number just looks too good to be true. So you can see that this context, OpenAI spent about 100 million just on computing, and they require massive data centers with 100,000 GPUs each costing about 40,000 USD. Meanwhile, DeepSeek only spent about 5 million and used about 2,000 GPUs. Now, this is an astounding number. Just goes to show you that China knows how to innovate with less. But in reality, there's this analyst, which is from Semi Analysis. They said that they believe the pre-training number is nowhere near the actual amount spent on the model, and they are confident that their hardware spend is actually well higher than 500 million over the company's history. The 6 million USD, or about 5 million just now we shared in the article, cost in the paper is attributed to just the GPU cost of the pre-training running. So it's not really entirely of the training cost for the DeepSeek AI model, but more on the pre-training part. So we don't know what is the total cost that DeepSeek spent. Obviously over here, the semi-analysis thinks that they spent about 500 million. So what this tells us is that probably DeepSeek did understated whatever they claim to be the most efficient in terms of creating this new AI model. But so far, it has not been confirmed by DeepSeek. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they tried to reach out to them, but there's no comment from them so far. Now, the second thing, which is CapEx. So a lot of analysts or even the market thinks that with this new innovation that is created by the Chinese AI model, lesser firms will be spending on CapEx. Basically, they will be not building as much data center as it was before, and maybe they're not even going to be buying a lot of GPUs. But this is false, because according to Anthropic, which is also another AI model, co-founder Dario Amodei, he said that the value of having a more intelligent system is so high that company will end up spending more, not less, on training models, because AI is the next big thing, right? So they are trying to pour as many resources as much as possible to build a bigger and also a more efficient training model. And training model is not cheap. As you can see, the numbers that semi-analysis shared just now, they spent about 500 million in terms of hardware. This is only coming from DeepSeek. From other companies like OpenAI, they spend about billions. Meta, also Amazon too. So yeah, CapEx spending will not slow down, and we will continue to rise.
Too busy to find stock ideas? Check out Fire Pro to shortcut your research time and effort by 90%. 10% off, link in the comments and description.
Now, the third thing over here is the energy efficiency. Now, a lot of people claim that because DeepSeek use so little GPUs, potentially they don't really use a lot of energy. But this might not be true also, because according to this article by Technology Review, they say that DeepSeek was found to have about similar energy efficiency to the Meta model, which is a Meta Llama AI. But DeepSeek tended to generate much longer responses and therefore was found to use 87% more energy. And obviously, if you are just trying to be clear based on the architect of the model alone, the chain of thought models use a lot of energy as they arrive at sounder answers. But of course, this data, we still don't know whether this statement is true or not, because neither DeepSeek nor Meta want to respond the request for any comments. But it's safe to say, I mean, if you think about it logically, when you want to generate longer responses, it tends to use up more energy. And that is actually what is happening with DeepSeek. If you look at DeepSeek, right, you try to use DeepSeek, you prompt something, they'll give a very lengthy philosophical answers for each question. So definitely they'll be using more energy, and whatever they say that they use less energy might not be true. So this is another truth about DeepSeek. Doesn't really sound that impressive as shared in the media. Now, so we already know some of the truth about DeepSeek. Obviously, the President Trump also still wants to meet with NVIDIA Jensen Huang on this Chinese AI model. I think they want to discuss whether they should do some sort of restriction, not sell a lot of these AI chips to China because of their innovation and development. They've been pretty impressive so far, but obviously the US wants to be very careful and not give out too much of a resources to China. And you can see that this is also another article which is quite recently by Bloomberg. Basically, the US probing if DeepSeek got NVIDIA chips from firms in Singapore. So if you guys didn't know, actually Singapore also sells some of the AI chips to China. And about 20% of NVIDIA's revenue comes from Singapore. So it's times of an uncertainty, and we don't know whether this restriction will resurface or not. So assuming if such restriction did resurface, well, then the sell-off from these AI stocks that is in Malaysia will be very much impacted. You can see names like YTL Power, YTL, and also NationGate. The three horsemen, they already got, I think share prices dropped about 20 to 30% from its high. So more weaknesses ahead and more uncertainty ahead for all of these AI-related stocks. But it could be an potential opportunity if you guys like the valuation, because obviously when they manage to deliver in terms of number, their valuation will become much more attractive. And potentially, it could be an opportunity if you like the company for bottom scooping. So here are our final thoughts. Definitely, these NVIDIA's future sales are quite uncertain, because assuming this restriction did resurface, meaning to say there will be lesser sales in the future, which means their hyper growth phase will be ending very, very soon already, or probably it ended already. We shall see in their upcoming quarterlies whether they can still grow in terms of revenue. Now, the second point we have over here, which is DeepSeek is not as impressive as it sounds on paper. But obviously, this one we still don't know yet. It is just some of the analysts that is still trying to do their research. They are trying to learn about DeepSeek and other Chinese AI model, whether they did spend very little on costing and whether they really did, use less energy. Now, finally, the most asked question, whether is AI stocks attractive to buy? So this one is according to you. Well, the data that I'll be paying attention to is whether the US restriction will be resurfacing, because assuming it did, definitely it will start to pull back some of these MNCs from spending a lot of capex to build data centers in overseas. Or maybe even some of the companies that is distributing the GPUs, probably they'll be getting lesser job or maybe even contract. This is going to be a time of uncertainty for AI stocks. A lot of big funds like your foreigners and even local institutions are on a sell-off, and the only major buyers are actually coming from the retailers. If you still believe in the AI growth, definitely this will be a time to take a look at some of these AI stocks. If not, you can choose to stay on the sideline. So that's about it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy it. And this is our Fire Pro's latest performance. You can see our Malaysia portfolio is up 45%. Global is up 2.49%, and also the boring portfolio is up 11.5%. So what is Fire Pro? Fire Pro is where we share our analysis on companies that we like and we think that there's some future, and we talk about their business, their management, their catalyst, their risk, and also the valuation. So if you want to know how we do our write-up, we have a free sample for you later on. But before that, I want to show you guys a new infographic that we did over here, which is the boring portfolio's stock dividend yield. Now, this dividend dividend yield, how we derive this number is basically based on our costing, dividend divided by our total cost. So it can come out with this dividend yield. Now, if you look at this, company A over here have about 14.5% dividend yield. This is a very, very impressive. But the bottom three over here, which is EFG, you notice they haven't really distributed much of a dividend, but we do expect them to give up in the upcoming quarterlies and potentially more in the future. Now, if you're interested to know more about all of this portfolio, how we do our write-ups, we have a free sample for you. And the links will be in the description and comments down below. So that's about it for today's video. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.